As someone that shows trading methods quite regularly on this channel, I always get the question about investing, and let me tell you, there is no better time to invest than as of right now. In this video, I'm going to be running you through the investments that I have made, and I'm also going to explain to you what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow is the release of the standard edition, and as soon as that happens, that is when we'll have the peak amount of players. It will include a lot of players starting up their ultimate team for the first time, and this will make certain player prices continue to go up all the way through October. Before I do get into the video, if you enjoy the content here and want to see a bit more from me, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. Every single week, I am giving you the latest updates so that you can make the most out of your ultimate team. If you want to see more content from me, which is different from FIFA, then there is a link in the description down below, which will take you over to the second YouTube channel. Over there, I'm playing a variety of different games, streaming 3 days per week. So as said, link is in the description down below. Getting back into the video, we have already gone past one investment opportunity. For those that did sign into the web app or get EA Play on the 22nd, a lot of you guys were able to build up your accounts and invest in some players before the 27th. We actually covered it here on this channel, and I told you the investments that I was making then. If you missed that opportunity, you now have another chance to go through it, and this is the last chance. Tomorrow we have the release of the standard edition, and even though with the standard edition players don't get a free 4,600 FIFA points, there will still be a lot of players signing for the first time, claiming their loyalty packs and loading up on FIFA points for them to open packs, which will later give them even more coins. Just like when people were preparing for the 27th, there was a lot of players saying that there was going to be a market crash because of people opening packs with FIFA points and immediately selling those players on. But we saw that for a lot of players, they didn't go down, they actually increased. And it's likely the exact same thing will happen tomorrow. So there are 3 different things that I'm looking at to invest in. These are 3 rough guidelines which I'm following, which decides whether or not I should actually invest in a specific player. Firstly, I'm looking for informed players. You can use FUT to actually look back at previous FIFAs, and you can look at the first team of the week. Normally what happens for the first month of FIFA, if there is any team of the week players which play within the top 5 major leagues, being Premier League, Ligue 1, Bundesliga, Serie A and La Liga, and they're going for minimum price anywhere between 10 to 20k, typically they do increase over the year. The first team of the weeks end up being the rarest team of the weeks towards the end of FIFA, and even though that is a long time to invest, I'm not actually going to be waiting that long. I'm going to make it part of my weekly routine, including this week, to buy informed players, store them into my club, and just store them until they become extremely rare on the market, where I should be able to sell them on for a much higher price, or an SBC comes out where I can either submit them for the SBC to get that SBC player, or I can go and sell them on for a profit. With this type of investment, I'm playing the long game. I'm not actually buying these and hoping to go and sell them off tomorrow because they're going to increase in price, because it's likely that they won't. But I am looking to hold these players for a month or 2 depending what happens. Very similar to this, I'm also looking for high rated cheap players. This will be the SBC Fodder. In the previous video, when I ran through 23 investments, the majority of the players there were SBC Fodder worthy. These were high rated players, not necessarily desirable for people to put within their team, but there just because they can be used for SBCs. And during that time, because there was no special SBCs, those types of players were very cheap. We're talking about 85 rated David Silva going for 3,500 coins, Sergio Busquets going for around 7,000 coins, Ibrahimovic being 84 rated going for just under 2,000 coins. And these players, including a lot more, will always be used for SBCs just because of their ratings, even if they are very bad players and not desirable players within game. As long as you get someone above 83 rated for just a couple thousand coins, then this counts as SBC fodder. You can store them into your club and just hold them until an SBC releases, which does require you to meet a certain rating. And let's be honest, at some point throughout FIFA 22, there will be an SBC like that. There's a chance that we can get that as a requirement for a want to watch SBC next week or the following week. If not, we have Player of the Month, and if not that, then there's going to be a huge array of different SBCs available. It's going to happen at some point. The last thing that I'm looking to invest in is high rated desirable players. These are players that I'm expecting to increase tomorrow and gradually increase through the month of October. Yet again, I have already bought into some of these players, and since the 27th of September, they have already increased in price. These are players such as Lewandowski, who I managed to get for 70,000 coins and is currently selling for 80,000 coins. Harry Kane, who I bought for 22,500 and is currently 25,000. Pogba, who I bought for 115,000 and is currently 140,000. These players have a bit of a following around them for different reasons. The reason I bought into Kane and Lewandowski is because they are extremely high rated players. Lewandowski being the second highest rated player within Ultimate Team, and at the time he was going for 70,000 coins, which I thought was unreal. Even if he turned out to be a bad investment, I still will be able to use a 92 rated player in my team, or I can put him as part of my bench and then sub him on at some point during the game. It's also the exact same with Harry Kane, and since playing with both of them, it's actually worked out very well. They're actually very good players. And with the likes of Pogba, even though he's lower rated, he's so much more desirable. Anyone that's built on a Premier League team would not say no to being able to play with Paul Pogba and have them as part of their team. And for a player which I managed to buy just above 100,000 coins, I think is going to go up. If there's players within the game that don't fit within those three categories, then I'm not going to buy into them to invest. There's been a lot of you guys that have been asking me about low rated and desirable players. These players being the likes of Malin, LaCroix and Akanji. Personally, I've sold all mine. Anytime that I've been able to pack these players or I did buy them to first try out, I have now sold on. Reason for this is just because of their rating. They are desirable players, but because of their rating, they're more likely to be packed compared to some of the higher rated players that I've talked about in this video. That's not me saying that these players will not go up in price. That's me saying that I just don't feel comfortable having coins invested into them. Now, as for the topic of there being a market crash tomorrow, it is true that new players will be joining the game for the first time. They will open their loyalty packs and they'll use FIFA points to buy packs. This will have effect on our market. But it doesn't mean that everyone is going to go down in price. Expect cheap, low-rated players to go down. It's always going to happen this way, and it did happen on the 27th. Anyone that people really did not want to keep, either it's because of their rating, they're not a good player within game, or they can't use them for any type of content within the game such as SBCs, those players are then immediately sold on. Once you start to get thousands of people doing that for one specific type of player, of course the sell and demand will outweigh the buy and demand, as each person tries to undercut the cheapest on the market, with it gradually getting lower and lower and lower. We saw this with many common gold cards and some low rated rare gold cards on the 27th. There was a lot of gold cards going for around 1,000, maybe 2,000 coins, which is now discard value. It's because there's no reason for people to buy into them. But once we start moving to a higher rated player, which is actually desirable for people to want in their team, those players increased, and it's going to happen tomorrow. This is all because once people start opening their packs, they're selling off the players that they don't want. This pushes those players down in price, but the coins that they're able to retrieve from those transfers, those coins are immediately going to the players that they were unable to pack but are desirable players that they want within their teams. This is why Harry Kane, Lewandowski, Pogba, Sterling, Messi, Ronaldo, all of these players have increased since the 27th and will increase again, because the chances of you being able to pack these players is extremely slim, but the chances of you using FIFA points to open packs to sell the players you get in those packs, to use those coins to buy into those players, is a lot more likely. So to end this video, I am just going to be running you through some of the investments that I've made. These aren't all my investments, but it gives you a rough idea of what I'm looking for. Firstly, for informs, I've looked to buy into any player that's in the top 5 major leagues, which is relatively cheap, being anywhere between 10 to 20k. These are players such as Yassine Bounou and Dzeko. These players won't go up tomorrow, but should gradually go up as time goes on. A huge bulk of my investments come from me investing in SBC Fodder. This is Jimenez, Bonucci, Savic, Ibrahimovic, Sergio Busquets, Oyarzabal, Aguero, David Silva, Gerard Moreno, Parejo, Handanovic, Verratti, Hummels, Suarez and Cruz. All of these players I think are relatively cheap for their overall rating. And even though I'm never going to play with these players, it's likely that the majority of the community is never going to play with these players. These players are the people that you're going to be going to once an SBC comes out, which requires you to hit a certain rating. We do then have 2 players which is a bit of a crossover. This is Donnarumma and Keylor Navas. both of these being goalkeepers and being fairly high rated. They can be used for you to achieve a certain rating within SBCs, but they're also goalkeepers. They're going to link up perfectly within game and you're most likely going to use them. So these could potentially be desirable players, with them also being able to fit into SBCs. And then finally, I've invested into Lewandowski, Harry Kane, Pogba, Raphael Varane and Sterling. These are players that I hope to see increase tomorrow and gradually increase throughout the month of October. These players are going to be incredibly hard for you to be able to pack, but I do believe that there's going to be a certain group of players that are going to sell some of their players that they managed to get through packs and use those coins to buy into some of these. So hopefully these are the types of players that will increase, and some of them already have. Lewandowski, Harry Kane, Pogba and Sterling have already increased in price, some by quite a bit. We have spoke about Lewandowski and Pogba in this video, but Sterling also being another one, was 56k when I bought him and is currently going for 68k. But anyway guys, these are the types of investments that I'm looking for and types of investments that I have already made in game. You don't have to buy any of the cards that I've talked about in this video, but it is a smart idea for you to look for some potential investments. And if you're really not too sure, one of the best things that you can do is just diversify. Look into different types of players that you think can go up and don't put all your coins into one area. Spread it out evenly. This is exactly what I've done, buying loads of different players that I think could potentially go up for different reasons. So even if one investment didn't go up, well, I've got plenty of other investments which still have the potential to. If you do have any questions about anything, then make sure you leave them in the comment section down below. But anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going. So see ya.